Welcome to the Author's Porch, where every good conversation happens. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride from author to author. We want to give you an experience where you learn and enjoy the conversation. Authors tell you about their journey, you learn about new books, and at the end of the day, you go home with a smile on your face because the Author's Porch is a beacon of light, bringing you home to the family you never knew you had. We hope that you enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Author's Porch, where every great conversation happens. I am super excited to have my friend LoLo Paige here with us tonight. LoLo, how are you doing?
CJ, it's always so much fun talking to you. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me on today.
Well, thanks for being here. It's been, I think, a couple years since we had you on the show. Now, I know that we talk every once in a great while behind the scenes because, I need to talk to Lolo every once in a while.
I know, right? We need our fixes. It's just
Yeah.
we hit it off so much, and I just love, you know, talking to you about everything related to books.
It was funny because I don't even know how we got you on the show that first time, but I talked to you and we were talking about how you have the same exact spot as you were the last time. I was like, "Hey, I know that background. You're in the
I
same
know.
writing spot as you were last time we did the show." So I'm in a different
Yes.
spot because I was in an office then. Now I've moved to a couch. I'm like, I'm on a couch. I'm relaxing. So it's so good to see you. Guys, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background, and this is the first time I don't have to read off of my notes because I know Lolo and I know where her career has gone because I watched it from the first book that she's published to where she's at now. And it is my pleasure to be able to give you her background. Lolo has a background in wildlife firefighting. She spent, was it 30 or 40 years? Gosh, so many years in the bureau of that government
Love it.
agency. Yeah. So so that gives her this unique insight when writing her wonderful books. And I've even read her books. I read her books. Yes, I'm an avid reader of her books as well. But recently she branched out and she started writing rom-coms. Hello Spain being your newest release, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
she also with is it Wild Rose Publishing? Am I getting the publishing company's name right?
The Wild Rose Press. Yes.
Wild
Yeah.
Rose Press. Wild Rose Press. She also did, it was like a noir. Am I saying that? Gosh, what is wrong with my words? Lolo,
Noir.
I'm getting all
Noir.
flustered. Like you get one of your
Neuer.
favorite authors on.
I used to I used to always say it's Neuer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still don't know how to pronounce it.
So
Actually,
that was, yeah, go ahead.
although I call it a femme fatale, that's what our multi-author collaboration folks
Yeah.
labeled it. So I go with that. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, I just kind of went totally off out of my lane, and wrote an assassin, a female assassin. And it was really a lot of fun. I mean, we had fun with that.
And I loved all of the covers and how they were so sequential in line, and it just felt like this old noir type of collection. Is like, wow, Lolo, you are doing your dang thing, but now you're coming back to your Alaska wildland wildfire series that I fell in love with the first time I started reading your books, and you're about to release your newest one.
Yes, it's the third one in the series. And I think what happened along the way is you read about how when the first one does really well, and then you feel like, oh gosh, can I do it again? And the second one seemed to go okay, but the third one, it's like third book itis. And you want to make sure that you're like, oh no, what if it doesn't measure up to the first two? And so you're always feeling that pressure. And then you psych yourself out. And then I found myself kind of starting it over and over and over and changing up the story and stuff. So it took longer than it should have for this. It should have been out a year ago.
Oh, wow. But you haven't stopped, like, you've just been cranking them out, and we talked about this, that constant beat of writing, 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 and I remember when we first talked, the very first time, you had this joy, and I can still see this love and this joy inside of you, but do you feel like cranking them out as hard as you have took any of that away, or do you still have that fire in your
Mhm.
belly?
I do and I don't. I think what I did was I set the bar super high last year. I set some goals, and the goal was attainable, but it came at a price. And the price was I wanted to see if I could write 500,000 words in 2022. I mean, that's what I set
Wow.
my goal last year. And I didn't hit that goal, but by the end of July 30th, I'd hit 400,000. But it came at a price because I got tired, and I
Wow.
became a little burned out on things. And what I did was I had signed up for all these anthologies, and then changed lanes and got into rom-com and got into the romantic thriller and shiny things, and I was reaching for those. And
Yeah.
so, I think I learned a lot, you know, going through all that, because yes, you can do. I wanted to prove to myself I could do it, and I did. But at the same time, the writing will suffer sometimes if you keep pushing like that, and it did. Um, because I had a not so great review on one of the stories I did for an anthology, and it was a wake up call for me. And I went, okay, stop pushing so hard.
Yeah.
Go back to why, like we've talked about this, go back to why you wanted to do this in the first place, you know? And I think I lost sight of that a little bit. So I've come back to, like you say, the fire in the belly kind of thing. I've come back to the fire and all of that. And I'm back in my comfort zone, of doing that. But the rom-coms as well, those are fun because, they're lighthearted and I want to make people laugh. And I think it's important now to provide stories that provide hope and make people laugh, you know?
Yeah. Now, I think that's one of the biggest, not making people laugh, but I think, going back to what you said about that little bit of burnout, I think that's and the shiny things, it's one of the biggest burdens in the indie author community is the shiny things, shiny things. We all wanna make it, so we grab at as many things as we can to see which one of them is gonna stick, but
Yes.
we forget why we started this in the beginning. And you said you set out a goal and you made it, but you kind of wondered, well, what am I really doing? And you wanted to get back to your core. And I did the same thing, but I didn't make it. I had to drop out of a lot of things because I was like, okay, I'm burning out and I'm fizzling. I didn't make it to the end of all the things I set out to do. So I commend you for at least sticking with it to the end. And I'm glad you're getting back to your core because your series is phenomenal. Like and
Oh, thank you.
there is some comedy and there is hope in the
Yeah.
Alaska Wildland Fire books. Like the series itself, you have the hope, you have the comedy as well. So I think that you had already built in everything that you wanted to do, but maybe you didn't feel that you had enough of them yet and you
Yeah.
wanted to branch off. But yeah, they're great.
Yeah, and I love them. And recently, can I name drop, or is that bad form?
You
I
do
mean,
whatever you wanna do. This is our show,
okay.
Lolo.
Well, recently, Kat Martin read my first two books. And see, I had met her at a writers' conference in the lower 48 last year. And so, you're talking and, oh, what do you write? Well, after I fangirled her, and I showed her on my phone, and she goes, oh, so she holds up her phone and captured it, and then she read them, and she not only that, but she put a post on my author page on Facebook how she enjoyed them, and I was like, Cat Martin, oh my god!
Right? I just
So
got one of
she
her books, actually.
I know. And she said, would you like a quote for your to put on your cover. And I'm like, oh, yes, yes. So that's going on this next cover for Alaska Blaze. I'm really excited about that. So
See?
yeah, it's just these
You
things come out at you and you're like going, oh, it was so
That's
exciting.
amazing. That's amazing. And, there's people that you meet and you just know they have it. And you know that and it's not just about because they I don't know, like, when I met you that first time, you just have this genuine soul about you. Like, you were just an authentically genuine person. It wasn't about the fame, and it wasn't about the fortune. It was always about the story with you. And then we brought you back, and you talked with Nicole here on the show about, 20 books to 50K. And
Yes.
you were like a kid in a candy store on 20 books of 50K, and you know what? And it was like everyone gravitated towards you during that event as well because of your genuine spirit, and you just have a love for the writing itself. Now, you got started a little later than some other people, but what I find is so many people hit their stride later in life from writing these books, and it sticks.
Yeah, I think it's because you have some mileage on yourself, and so you're more relaxed when you
Yeah.
approach the whole thing. You're not as, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And I didn't have that. I just wanted the story to get out there and the best way I could tell it. And that's, as long as I focus on that, um, like the series you and I were talking before that I'm watching on Netflix, where the focus, there's a line in there that they keep saying it's about the music, it's about the writing and the music, and that really resonated with me because I thought it is about the writing, it is about the story, and as long as we stay focused on that, I think it will be authentic, because if it's in your heart and you write it true, you write it honest, and you write it straight from here, you can't go wrong, I don't think.
It's Elvis. He's making
Elvis,
himself
hi
known.
Elvis.
Yeah. Is the Mandalorian around by any
She
chance?
is. She's back here. She was dropping her ball. Oh my gosh, that was so funny this morning. She threw it in my coffee cup and got a hole in one. It was so
I
funny.
saw I saw the post. I saw the post and I was like, I laughed so hard
I,
because he throws
she,
his ball on his own food.
she was way back here too when I threw the ball and it went yeah, plunk, and I had coffee in there.
Oh my goodness. Now you got your dog because it was a character in one of your books. And I remember you talking about you were like, okay, I'm gonna have this dog on the cover of the book, but and then you ended up getting the dog before the book was released. And I was like,
Well, yeah, I put my Goldens in there with the sled dogs. It's just kind of, they're all in there together. I mean, I had to do that. I just, and it really helped me because, um, it's when they're with you here, they come over here all the time and they're at my feet, especially if
yeah,
I'm eating something, they'll park here in hopes
of
of
course.
I drop something. But they really have, kind of been through this whole third book thing with me. And so I thought, I got to put them in there.
Yeah,
And putting that sled dog on the cover turned out to be a good thing too. People really like the dogs. And Alaska is
yeah,
a dog state, you know.
very much so. I follow you on social, right? And I'm always liking your post. I'm sure you can see. You're like, yeah, CJ, stop stalking me.
CJ, CJ.
But it's like watching a story, I'm watching the dog grow up. I'm watching your process, and I just get a kick out of all of it. So keep showing Mandalorian because I just love
I will.
all of it. It is so entirely cute. So on to the third book in the series. Now I love the characters. I love what is going on and all the stuff in the series itself because after reading the first one I was hooked, obviously. What can we expect in this third one coming out?
This third one's going to have. I keep the suspense up. I always include a subplot of wrongdoing in some regard, and so I always have that antagonist, the bad guy. in the background. And without spoiling too much about this, he gives the main character. I introduced a new um, heroine in this one who is an Alaskan. And in the past, I've had people that from outside of Alaska, the firefighters that came up here, but
Mhm.
well, actually she is from Arizona, but she came up and got into the whole Alaska thing and moved to Talkeetna. So the setting for this one is mostly in and around Talkeetna. A couple of years ago, I believe back in 2019, we had some really bad fires up near Willow and Talkeetna, which threatened a lot of Iditarod musher dog kennels and a lot of mushers that community is up there. And they had to figure out how to get all these dogs evacuated. Sled dog teams, some of these kennels have 60 dogs in them, and they had to figure out how to get all of them out when the fire, they were trying to get this fire contained and they just couldn't. The winds were too bad. It got into beetle kill. And folks that don't know what that is, it's when the spruce bark beetles get into the trees and then they kill them by the infestations, and it becomes the forests are dried out, and then the fire just burns through there. So that's what happened up here is we have a lot of beetle kill up there, and so these fires were pretty catastrophic. They did burn out a couple of the folks' homesteads and things. So what I did was I always base my books on real live fire events that occurred in Alaska, and then I write the characters into that. So that's what I did in this case.
Mm. I think it makes it more interesting because you can relate on a more personal level that way.
Yes. Yes, I interviewed a couple of mushers that went through that. There
Wow.
were two fires. One was the sockeye fire that happened before, where it just caught everybody off guard. And then the next one, they had learned lessons from that first one on evacuation and such. And so on the second one, they had a Facebook page, they got better organized, and so they could coordinate. Okay, where are you going to take your dog sled teams? You're going to take them to the parking lot of Fred Meyer. Where are you taking yours? You're going to take it to the Safeway parking lot. And all these businesses ponied up places for the people to take their animals and themselves, when they
Wow.
evacuated, because you have to have a place to go, you know, for all these
Yeah.
dogs. And so I interviewed one of the women that coordinated all that. She was amazing, this musher up in Willow. And she told me some of it just had me in tears, some of the heartbreaking stories of
Yeah.
trying to get all those people and dogs out of there.
Yeah.
So,
I couldn't even imagine the devastation.
and I always
Wow.
credit them in my acknowledgement sections in my book. So I'll have their names in there, the people I talk to and things like that. So that's, because I really like to keep it authentic and as accurate as possible,
Mhm.
even though it's fiction. And the beauty of fiction is you can twist it any way you want too. So I
Yeah.
always make sure I say loosely based.
Yes, and you throw in the romance, and you throw in the angst, and you throw in this beautiful story. I mean, I remember the first one had me going, "Well, who is it? Who is it?" I was yelling, "Who is it?" And I was like, "Please, let them." I was just saying all kinds of stuff to the book. So I definitely understand. Now, will this be where you slow down and focus just on the series, or are you still gonna stick with some rom-coms? 'Cause I've read a little bit of the Hello Spain, and I love the beginning. I was like, "Yes, I need to have a vacation with my girls," you know? So, it is very, but then I got caught up on this, murder mystery that I'm at 95%,
Oh,
my Kindle says, so then I can go back to Hello Spain. Like, I go between the dark and the light. Like, I
I
have
do
to go
that too.
back and forth.
Yeah, I do
So
that too.
so then I'll go back to Hello Spain, and then after I'm done with the murder mystery, but do you think that you'll go between the 2, or will you stick just with the series now?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on both of them. I usually have two novels going at the same time. So, like right now,
Yeah.
I'm working on the second book, Irish Thunder, the second rom com. That one's I made a little bit lighter. The Hello Spain has a couple of real life themes in there, death and divorce,
Yeah.
but that's
Mhm.
just the story I had to get out there. But the
Yeah.
second one, I'm putting them on an Irish male stripper cruise, and so that in and
Hey,
of itself was easy to lend itself to the rom-com.
where do
But
I
I'm
sign
doing that.
up?
Yep. Well, and then both of these books are loosely based on trips I took and stuff I experienced. I mean, the cruise I went on wasn't a male stripper cruise, but it was an Irish cruise with a male singing group. And when my friend, my friend
You wished we're stripping. No, I'm joking.
Well, when I asked her to come with me on this cruise, she was like, throwing it all on me, going, just book it, just do it, and I'll just show up. So when I got her there and we get on the elevator on the cruise ship, she's like, "Where's all the Irish male strippers?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Isn't this a strip cruise?" And I go, "No," because it was called Celtic Thunder. And I had gone to the Thunder Down Under in Vegas the month before that. She got it confused. She thought it was the Thunder Down Under guys on the Celtic Thunder, and the Thunder thing got all messed up. And I'm like, no, no, I think they keep their clothes on. You know, is that a problem? And she goes, well, no, but I'm a little disappointed. I had to write about it. I had to put it in a book, so I did.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's a must read, guys. That's a must read.
when
What's that one?
people ask, when people ask where your ideas come from, it's like, well, a trip I took, or
You're
something
like,
I.
when you've lived a life that I've lived, you have plenty of material.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good
So
stuff.
yeah, I just keep a fire book going with the rom-com at the same time, like I'm revising one or drafting the other.
Yeah.
And it's fun because I can alternate. I can go between those worlds for a
Mhm.
break, just to recharge your battery a little bit and change a pace.
Yeah, for sure. And will you be attending the 20 Books of 50K again this year?
Yes, I've been going every year. So I
Good for you.
my husband and I are both signed up and ready to go down again. And this time though, I used to focus on getting to all the sessions. I need to learn craft. I need to learn this. I need to learn that. But this year, I think what I'm going to do is really focus on talking to authors and other writers. Because you can get spun into this fast schedule. And for
Yeah.
me, a lot of value. I mean, that's where I met the writers that invited me to the collaboration for Jealousy. Had I not been out and about talking to people, that wouldn't have happened. So I think I'm going to focus on walking around talking to authors and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a huge networking event, as well as teaching event, as well as getting signed deals event, meeting big name authors event. It's like the
Yes.
event, right? Like,
Oh, yes. And the first day is vendor day. And I
mhm,
got to talk one on one with Amazon, Google, YouTube, Microsoft. All those people are there in person. And I had all my questions written down. Well, and it's always, I'm having trouble with da 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 da. And
yeah,
they help me solve the problem. They get on their computers right then and there. They help me get things solved that I was wrestling with. I mean, I love that. And the people are so that they send the reps, they're just so accommodating and so willing to help you out. I really
that's
love that.
awesome. That's great.
KDP, KDP had 3 or 4 people there and they were amazing.
That's
So,
awesome. Maybe one day for me, it's very overwhelming the sheer size of the event and the
it
undertaking of
is.
it. And you've definitely got to be um, who I was 10 years ago. That would have been nothing for me. I would have walked in there like I don't mind crowds because I didn't 10 years ago. Now I can't even go to the doctor's office and hear voices, and I'm like, oh, there's too many people here. Please
It's too
make them
much.
stop
It's too
talking.
much.
Yeah, I was at the doctor's office the other day and people were talking loud and I was like, "Please get me in a room by myself, please get me in a
Yeah.
room." Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and they're all about encouraging people to go if you get overwhelmed, go to your room and take 5 and step back and all that. They're all about
mhm,
doing that too. There are some times when I just sat in the foyer out front just to catch my breath, and and just sit and chat with somebody,
Mhm.
or
Yeah,
just take a walk outside on the strip, you know, which is more people, but at least you get a
right.
breath of fresh air.
Yeah. I would encourage anybody to go. It's such an amazing. I've heard nothing but great things, and the people that put it together just have the best intentions and everything
Yes.
ready for
Craig
it. So
Martell he does an amazing job organizing that event every year, and I love how he promotes a positive atmosphere and the rising tide lifts all boats premise, that we're all here to help each other, to exchange information. We're not here to compete with one another and all of that. And, I just love the whole positive atmosphere. Um, I've gone to other writers' conferences. I went to a couple Writers' Digest ones, and they were fun too. And certainly they had a positive atmosphere, but it didn't have that personalized, we care about you as an author vibe that 20 Books has. They have more of a we're all in this together kind of thing going on.
yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why when we talked the first time and every time since then, I've just said I've absolutely adore who you are as a human being, as an author, and your books. And no matter what you put out, I'll always support you because that's that's the same personality that you have. That's the same aura and soul that you have, is no matter what, you believe that we're all gonna get through this together and that we all take care of each other. And in the indie author world, if you don't have that personality and that aura, I mean, does that mean you have to buy everybody's books? No. But it does mean that you don't need to feel like you compete with everybody else, and it means that you can say, "Yay, congratulations." Sometimes that's all you
Yes.
need to do for somebody, but to put your thumb on somebody and try to hold them down is just not okay. So I think your the way that you go about life makes people connect with you, and it's just a beautiful
Well,
way to live.
I had to let go of that competitive nature side of me for all this. I mean, because I have a competitive nature. And I mean, I used to be a competitive swimmer. I was in theater. I did all these things, right? Where you're kind of competing and in the workplace and stuff. But when I hit Booklandia and writing and publishing, that kind of followed me in. And then I quickly realized you can't do that. I can't compare myself to Colleen Hoover or another
Mhm.
author who is just killing it out there. I have to take my work and where I am and just go at my own pace and just do what makes me happy, and hopefully will make my readers happy. And I think if I just stay focused, like you say, on why we did this in the first place,
Mhm.
I've let go of all that now. I've let go of, like we were talking the other day about how we love helping other authors. I
Mhm.
really like doing that. I really do. And I think maybe that's where a lot of my talent lies, moving forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're when does this new firefighting book come out?
April 30th is the release date, and it's on
Mhm.
pre order now on all retailers. I took my books out of Kindle Unlimited and put them wide with all retailers. It was scary, but I did it. um, so I'm working on letting readers know that they're available and out there on Barnes and Noble and Kobo and in Hoopla. In the they're accessible through Overdrive in the libraries and things like that.
Wow.
So yeah,
A lot of people have
there's
been
Elvis.
saying, yeah, he's always around. Where I'm at, Elvis. A lot of people have said that they've been making more money once they've taken their kids off Kindle Unlimited and went wide with their ebooks. So I would definitely like to hear your experience once you've been off of Kindle Unlimited. Sorry about that. once you've been off of Kindle Unlimited and been doing that for a while, maybe you'll come back, or maybe you'll give us a little spiel that we can put on our blog or something, because that's something a lot of authors are starting to gear towards a little bit. Myself, I'm still all Kindle Unlimited. Everything's on Amazon. I'm one of those authors who just I do the easy road. I don't take the hard road.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, and that's why I started it. It was easy peasy. And the read through, I love the read through you get on romance when folks want to go from one book to the next to the next. And I saw a lot of that. And I might I when I continue this series, I'm gonna, since I fought fire in different states, I'm going to start a trilogy in Montana. It was my next firefighting endeavor. And so I'm planning that all out now. And what I might do with that series is maybe just keep that all in Kindle Unlimited. I don't know. I like to experiment with different ways of doing things to see how that goes. And if I find in Kindle Unlimited that I'm really getting that read through again, I might take the Alaska books and put them back in there. I don't know. But I wanted to give White a chance first to see
yeah.
how that goes.
Yeah, definitely. That experiment is crucial. I follow a couple authors who are entrepreneurs, huge in the entrepreneur world, where they've been doing this for 10, 20 years, and they're experimenting like really hardcore with different platforms, and they teach all the different platforms, and it's really nice to watch the process and understand it. I'm not ready to jump yet because I'm a scared little kitten who still needs a lot more a lot more understanding behind me. So I'd love to hear your feedback once you've been in that realm a little bit more. The so April 30th, everyone can go and you can pre-order the book now. Do you have an author website that I could type here in the comments for people to go and check
Oh,
you out
yes.
and maybe grab your book there?
It's lolopage.com, www.lolopage.com.
Okay.
And I have a free book that you can get right off the website there that'll take you into Book Funnel. It's the prequel to the Fire series, and that's
Hey,
free. And then if you like that, you can progress through the series. And Alaska Blaze is the title of the book coming out on April 30th.
very good. And then after that, so Hello Spain is out. The first two books in your Wildland Firefighting series is out. Also, Jealousy with under the Femme Fatale
Sisters
series,
of Sin.
Sisters of
Yes.
Sin series is out. And Irish Thunder, when is that one set to be
Well,
coming out? Do you have a date yet?
I am so excited about that one because I had so much fun writing that thing. We're in the galley stage now with Wild Rose Press. The galley, where you go through line by line. We're doing that now, and once we get through the galley stage, it heads into production, and then they assign it a release date. So I'll let you know when that is. Probably, I would say maybe sometime this summer.
Okay. Yeah, well, as soon as I see it, I'll be sharing it on my pages as well. Like I always share all of your stuff because I enjoy your career and watching you shine through all the stuff that you do. But I've had a blast. I always, anytime you have a new release, come back and talk to us here. Let's talk about it and let's chat about all the fun stuff that you're doing and
Oh,
all
that'd be
the
fun.
amazing
We should do it with Nicole again too. She is so much fun.
she is. Yeah, we should bring her on here and talk about whatever everyone's getting up to. I hardly ever talk to Nicole anymore. She's doing her thing, writing over in San Francisco and all the fancy stuff in California. We still have to do our
Yeah.
RV,
Oh
we
my
still have
gosh,
to go on
yes.
our RV trip.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, she just got off stage. She did a production in San
Mhm.
Diego that
Yeah.
she was in. So I kind of hung up my stage acting chops. I couldn't remember lines anymore. The last show I did was Steel Magnolias, and the cast was always giving me the eye because I was always, forgetting my lines. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to leave on a high note because I played Clary, which was my favorite role I always wanted. And I thought, you know what? I want to write lines for other actors. So I got
Yeah.
into writing plays and then the novels and stuff. So
You and
yeah,
Nicole are the fancy girls. I'm the one that was always in the background, like putting the chairs, making sure they were straight for everybody, for the audiences. That was my role. I've never acted, I've never sang, I've never done any of that stuff. So I commend you all for having the oomph the hoof spot to be
Yeah.
able to get on stage and all that because I could never do that. Now my daughter is an on stage type of person. My son is, director of resident life and all. He's like me. He's the worker bee. We're
Yeah.
worker bees. You guys and my daughter are the ones that can capture an audience.
Oh, I don't know about that. But it was fun. It was fun. We had a good time. We had a
That's
good time.
awesome.
And I have stories I'm going to be writing on some of that coming up. I got to put them in the queue. Um, but I did, in fact, I wrote one for an anthology that's out now. I believe that's the XOXO anthology. It's
Okay.
going to be called Everybody Loves Polar Bears. So that's going to be something coming up soon. As soon as the rights revert back.
There
That
you go.
will be another rom-com.
Interesting. Well, I have had a blast talking to you, Lolo, and make sure that you let us know each time you have a new release, and we'll make sure we share on all of our platforms as well. You are just a bright light in the indie author world, and I appreciate everything that you do for indie authors and sharing all of your wonderful books with us. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, and we will catch up with you very, very soon.
Oh, thank you so much, CJ. I always love talking to you.
Bye. We'll catch you later. Bye, everybody. We'll
Okay,
see you next time.
bye.
Bye.